Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Welcome to a live edition of the MPower Show. I am Markeith Braden and my co host.
Donzale Powell.
And we want to thank you for joining us for this live edition. We were supposed to start around about 3, but technical difficulties kind of had us behind. But we are here. We are excited and we're glad that you are joining us today for this live stream. So this is our first episode in 2023. We took some time off, a few weeks off towards the end of the year, and we are back. And we wanted to start back with some live episodes over the next few weeks. And Donzale, so how was your end of the year? How was the end of your 2022?
It was good. Most people are familiar with the Southwest issues as far as flights go, and I was definitely a part of that. Had to stay in the airport for quite a while, and then was kind of stuck in Tampa, and ended up having to drive back. Yeah, it was a whole issue, but I made it, so everything's good.
You made it. You made it. Yeah, my end of the year was pretty quiet. It was a very peaceful holiday season. I was able to catch up on some of these Netflix and Hulu and Peacock episodes. One being the Best Man final chapters, which was really good. I think I watched the first time I tried to watch it, I fell asleep. And then the next day, I think I watched all 9 episodes of the series. Literally was in the house the whole day, eating whatever I wanted to eat, and just, binge watched that series. And it was really good, but that last episode kind of left you thinking there has to be more. You can't just end it like that. Did you have a chance to watch it?
I did, and I thought the same thing. I was like, "Well, it says the final chapter, but like, do you really mean final, or this is just, leading up to something else and another final and another?"
Yeah. But it was really good. It was really good. They hit on a lot of different things in the series, a lot of different cultural things that were happening. So yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yep, touched on some of those taboo topics that sometimes. Uh, but
Yeah.
you know what? I will say this, but also on Peacock, you
Mhm.
remember they also touched on some taboo topics with Bel Air. I don't know if you
Yes, they
watched that,
did. They
but they
did.
did. So people are trying to bring things forward and just have the conversations and not
Mhm.
be so, timid or scared to talk about things.
Yeah, I watched that earlier in 2010 when it first kind of came out and saw all of those episodes. And then I don't know how I ended up with Peacock. I think I had switched over my Wi-Fi to Comcast, and it comes free with Xfinity. I think Peacock does. So good stuff. Well, this episode we just wanted to have a discussion around why high achievers should have a word or phrase of the year, and I actually hit on this a little bit in my podcast as well. And I thought this would be a great topic to discuss with Donzale and to share with our listeners on our YouTube channel. Today, we're streaming across multiple platforms today. So feel free to make comments, share your thoughts as well. And, we'll read them out loud and be a part of the conversation. So, as I was thinking about a word or phrase for 2023, I had to ask myself this question. Markeith, did you achieve all of your goals that you want to achieve in 2022? And if you did not, why didn't you? And the more and more I asked myself that question, the more I realized that it was mainly because of follow through. That I did not follow through on what it was that I said I wanted to do. And as I thought about it some more, I realized that 2023 for me needed to be the year of follow through. The year of follow through. If you're listening, type that in the comments for me. 2023 is the year of follow through. Donsley, what about you?
Yeah, so for me, mine wasn't a word. Typically it is a word. This year is a phrase. which came to me probably about a month and a half before 2023. So I just kind of also used it to close out 2022, knowing that this would be kind of the focus for 2023. And mine is go get it. And that stemmed from, I think, because we've talked several times about our entrepreneurial journeys and, leaving corporate America, et cetera, et cetera. And this is going on the tail end of year 3 for me. So I guess starting almost year 4 in this space, and I'm really starting to, I think it's taken this much time just to
Mhm.
really start to get a groove, really start to have traction, have I don't know if you've heard the people talk about how instead of chasing, things are coming to you. And
Mm.
that's starting to happen.
Mm.
Some things I'm still going after just because I like you said, if it was an item that I really wanted, I am continuing to follow through on that. But it's just been kind of a role reversal a little bit, in where the opportunities that are for me are literally just kind of either falling in my lap, or when go seek after them, I'm not having to fight. I'm not having to fight to get them. And so because of that, I'm like, look, I'm in this place. I don't want to say comfortable, because I'm not comfortable.
Right.
And I think we always need to keep pushing to not be too comfortable. Like, I mean, yes, you want balance as
Mhm.
far as, being able to relax and not necessarily working yourself to death, but not still uncomfortable enough that I have goals and things that I want to achieve. And I say, go get it. And
Go get
that
it.
is my plan. Go get it.
Go get it. Go get it. So we both have phrases. I don't know.
Yeah.
Most people will usually do a word, and sometimes phrases. You get a lot of phrases in church, right? And the pastor will have a thing for the year. But I
Yeah.
just thought we would go through a few of these. Actually, I did a blog post on why high achievers should have a word or phrase. But before we kind of go through those points, what do you think? Why should high achievers, people who really want to achieve their goals, in your own words, why do you think people should have a word or phrase of the year for themselves?
I think it just kind of sets the tone. And of course, it can change. So for the year, I'm almost like, okay, what's the overarching theme? Like, what am I really trying to do, trying to accomplish, or what is most important? So last year, I think, as far as my word, again, because typically I would do a word, it was more focused on just being as productive as possible. So I knew that I had a lot that I needed to accomplish. So I'm like, look, I need to really strategize and really think and really concentrate on making things happen and getting things done. Whether that was processes, procedures, just really kind of laying the groundwork to be productive. So that was my word. Now that I'm kind of, again, transitioning a little bit, so I've got all the processes and procedures, I've got a lot of that part done. So now I'm focused on executing and kind of really, like I said, just go get it.
Yeah, yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I think that it really helps with inspiration. It helps with accountability.
Hmm.
It helps
Hmm.
with, helping you to stay motivated. For me, the whole idea of follow through, just my whole little story. Many people, if you follow me on social, I am in the gym Monday through Friday, if not Saturday too. And those mornings where I'm like, oh, I think I just want to lay here, follow through runs through my head. Because I have this goal by my birthday. I have this goal. And the only way I'm going to hit this goal of seeing some abs by May is that I got to be in that gym Monday through Friday. And I have to practice decent nutrition.
Hmm.
So instead of eating my Friday maple donuts, I need to have Friday fresh strawberries and bananas or something, or
Yeah.
fresh greens. I was sharing with you before we got on the live that I'm doing intermittent fasting. I'm doing 16-hour a day fast, 8-hour window of food, and it's really been working for me as far as I see a total difference even in my body recomposition
Yeah.
just from the past 2 weeks of my body getting used to really utilizing that stored fat because it's becoming accustomed. Okay, I've got to find the energy from somewhere, and I work out fasted as well. So I do my
Mhm.
morning fast. So I typically stop eating around 9 o'clock, and I don't eat until one, my next meal until one the following day. And I'm not even hungry. Like
Mm.
literally, 1 o'clock came, and I just went downstairs, made my egg whites, and had 3 pieces of toast, Sara Lee 45 calorie bread. How many of y'all know that you can get Sara Lee 45 calorie bread that's low in carbs and high in protein? And
Adding
so
to my
that has
list.
been that has been very, very helpful. And I'm not necessarily denying myself of some of the foods that I like. Last night I had strawberry shortcake, and I was like, okay, this is a test to see what my weight will look like the next morning and having, indulging in some sweets. And I went down a pound.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so follow through on what it is that you say you're going to do. And so for me, it really helps to keep me accountable. And I even went on live and shared that my theme for the year was follow through, because I want to keep myself accountable and I want other people to keep me accountable as well.
I love it. So I had my one of my vision manifest tours. That's one of the things that I've done. Um well, it's been branded as that for now 2 years, but I've been doing basically the same type of work and workshops since 2015. But for this tour, I actually kicked off 2023. And so on the 7th, I had two sessions kind of back to back. And one of the things that we talked about, of course, is goals and where we're trying
Hmm.
to get to, just making that plan. And even like you said, the accountability. That's a huge piece that a lot of people miss. And they wonder why their quote unquote New Year's resolutions don't stick around.
Yeah.
Well, have you really thought about what it is that you're trying to do? Do you really believe that what it is that you're trying to do? This is my question that I asked the group. And I want to ask the listeners too. And this is just for yourself. If you want to put it in the chat, please have at it. But just for yourself internally, think about it. Whatever it is that you're wanting, whether that's your catchphrase you want to accomplish or some lifelong goal, whatever that is, if you really, really thought that it would happen,
Hmm.
would you go harder for it? Like, would you be more determined? Would you stay up a little later? Would
Right.
you do the intermittent fasting and say, "Look, I got to stick to this because I know that I can." If you knew, that's the thing. You got to believe. It's all mindset work. I mean,
All
literally,
mindset. Yeah.
all mindset. If you really think that you can do it, then would you? And that's one of the reasons again that I'm with this whole go get it, because I believe it. Like I can see it clear as day. And sometimes visionaries, we talked about that as well. Whether you're a visionary versus an integrator, or do you have a little mix
Hmm.
of both? And I do have a mix of both, but I am a visionary and I think really big. And so sometimes in order for that to happen, you have to also have be able to break things down in order to make it happen and set in place, like I said, those habits, the accountability. How am I really going to make this continue through the whole year versus
Yeah.
just January or just through February? You might
Right.
have a few that hang in there till March, but
Yeah.
most of the time they slack off.
Yeah. Well, those of you who are just joining us for the live, we are sharing this on social media, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn and Twitter as well. And normally we just share these episodes on YouTube, but we want to share the first episode across multiple platforms. If you're not subscribed to our channel on YouTube, click the link in the post. Click the link in the post. Follow us on IG, and then also subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I actually will put the channel in our I'll put the channel in the comments as well so that you can follow us there. We want to make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you don't miss a thing. And also, we now have a text notification. So if you don't want to miss any episodes of the MPower Show, click the link in the post as well, and you can become a part of our text notification by filling out the form there. Follow us on YouTube. Well, there are a few things that I had jotted down notes in one of my blog posts, and let's talk about these. There are seven reasons why you should have a word or phrase. Those of you who are listening as well, type your word or phrase in the comments for the year. What's your word or phrase in the comments? And we will share those on the screen as well. But one of the first reasons why you want to have a word or a phrase I wrote was that a word or phrase of the year helps you focus on your goals and your priorities. By choosing a word that embodies what you want to focus on in the coming year, you can use it as a guiding light to help you stay on track and progress towards your objectives. And I like that because when you think of a guiding light, your word or phrase should remind you what your focus should be when you get off track. Mm-hmm. That if you are veering a little off a little bit, that word or phrase should come to mind, and so to help you get back on track. Whatever your goal is, let's use fitness is usually everybody's goal at the beginning of the year. Right. But it is a known fact, it's a research fact, that by the end of January, February, most people have already fallen off that goal. Well, if you have a word or phrase that you're really passionate about, I think it can help carry you through the year when it comes to those fitness goals. So it can be a guiding light to help you stay on track. What are your thoughts on that, Donsley?
I agree. And one of the things I will touch on that was in the workshop, and hopefully you can do this at home, try to work on something like this. One of the things that I always suggest to people to do is come up with your own personal mission statement. All right. A lot of times, if you're in business, you have your mission statement or your vision statement for your business. But sometimes we need to think about that as individuals. What is my personal mission statement? Like at the end of the day, when everything's said and done and I'm ready, if I leave this earth, what do I want to have done? What will my life will have meant? And in order to do that, I say, come up with a personal mission statement. But what I do, I challenge people to make it 2 sentences long. No shorter, no longer. And the reason I say that is I've seen it time after time. Number one, we all typically, a lot of people have a lot on their plates. And when I say a lot on their plates, not necessarily always work, but juggling kids, being a spouse, being a helper, a friend, a sister. You've got all of these things. You're trying to go to Bible study. You're trying to, like you said, work out. You're trying to make sure you're getting to the grocery store, meal prepping. You've got all of these things that are constantly tugging on you, right? And so if you can come up with that 2-sentence personal mission statement, it's going to force you to narrow it down. It's going to force you to refine and maybe even eliminate some things that before you might have thought of as important, and they still may be important, but they're not as important as the things that you end up writing down because you only have so much space. And don't make it some run-on sentence that's really a paragraph talking about, oh, this is my 2 sentences. No, you really wrote a book. So try to keep it as brief and concise and specific as possible. And that will help to guide you through. And like he said, throughout the year where you're like, you start getting off track and start taking on more than you should. Maybe sometimes you start saying yes to some things that you should really say, no, I'm just not able to take that on right now. Having that mission statement will help you to stay in line with what you're really trying to do.
Yeah, having that mission statement, your word or phrase. Those of you who are just joining us live, we're talking about why high achievers should have a word or a phrase of the year. I talked about this on my podcast. I thought this would be a great discussion for Donsley and I for our very first episode back in the new year. The second reason why you should have a word or phrase of the year It can increase your accountability. All of us could use some accountability in our life, whether that be accountability partner, whether that be a phrase for ourselves. It says, by reminding yourself of your chosen word or phrase daily, you can stay motivated and focused on what matters most to you and your interest. And so when I think about that, what matters most, that's the great thing. Well, that's one of the things that I kind of sometimes have a challenge when I have clients, that many of them don't even know what matters most to them.
Mhm.
What really are their values in life? What really are the things that they truly care about that are non negotiables? When you have that word or phrase, it's basically putting a stamp on what it is that you're saying the year is about. And if it's not in alignment with what you said, then that's where you have to let it go. That's where you turn a different direction. And so having that word or phrase can be your accountability to yourself. Do you agree, Donzale?
Yes, I like that. And I just heard someone, um, it was on the radio. I was headed somewhere and they were just talking about integrity and how with integrity, it's not necessarily always what you'll do.
Mm.
Sometimes integrity is what you won't do. It
Yeah.
might be like, you know what? That's not appropriate for me. I'm not gonna do that. And sometimes that means turning some things down or saying, like I said,
Mhm.
saying no, or no, that's just not in line with my values and who I am. Yeah.
So good. Not it's what you won't do.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah,
So
I loved
good.
it. I was like, oh, noted.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Reason number 3, it can serve as a positive reinforcement. Seeing your chosen word or phrase regularly can serve as a positive reminder of your goals and help you stay motivated to achieve them. And so when I was writing this, I was like, that word or phrase should be posted somewhere where you can see it on a daily basis. So that when you're walking out the door, whether it be your bedroom or your house door, you see that word or phrase to remind you, follow through, Markeith. On your mirror in the bathroom, follow through, Markeith. On the refrigerator door, follow through, Markeith. So that you are reminded on a consistent basis. One of my goals, I have this financial goal for the year. And the only way I'm going to hit it, because I've never hit it before, is that I got to follow through. I got to do the things that I know to do in order to reach that goal.
I like that. Now I will say I don't necessarily have my um goals out where I can see them, but I'm real big on I like to write,
Mhm.
and I do like to see things often. That does help me. So whether that's looking at the calendar, looking at, it just I'm a very visual person. I'm a photographer. So I can't help it. Like I like to see it. And one of the things that I have out where I do see it, like literally it's in the living room. Now it's movable. So if I'm having company or something, I can move it with no problem. But I have a smaller whiteboard. I do have a large one as well that has all the goals on there, but I have one that specifically I use just to kind of keep track of one of my particular goals.
Okay.
And now that you said that, I'm going to go add my phrase to the very top of it, just
Mm.
so that again, I might, even though again that the board is focused on one of the goals, and
Right.
actually it's not even one of my top 3 goals. Okay. But it is a goal, but it's not the top ones. And so by seeing that, I'm gonna go add it just so that I make sure I don't forget. I've still got those top 3 and I've got to go get it. So yes, thank you for that.
So good. So good. The fourth reason, as we move forward on these, the fourth reason is that it can help you practice mindfulness.
Mm.
We don't really talk about mindfulness a lot. It says, by regularly reviewing and reflecting on your progress toward your goals and seeing how your word or phrase of the year has helped you stay on track, You can practice mindfulness. And one of the things that I did this morning was I noticed that I had kind of gotten a little off track of spending that first 30 minutes of my day when I wake up just meditating, sitting quiet. The Bible app now has a meditation a part of it. And I loved it because it has the whole soothing music and it gives you a few prayers that you can pray. And I really like that because sometimes we can just hop up and go. And I need to, get back into that practice of, okay, when you wake up, get clear, wake up, and then, practice some meditation, reading my scripture. But one of my goals this year is to read the entire Bible in 12 months. And they give you the whole schedule. All I have to do is follow the schedule. And I'm already behind 5 days, but I'm going to catch up. I'm going to catch up on my 5 days. But if I do it first thing in the morning, guess what? It's done. Mm-hmm. Instead of popping up, headed getting to the gym, doing what I do. And so, yeah, practicing that mindfulness is so good.
Mm-hmm. I need to get back to that. Last year I did do that, beginning my day in that place, so really taking time. And I say I did it consistently for probably about 4 months, and then it kind of weaned and weaned and weaned and weaned away. So I'll take that as my own personal, as you say, follow through. So I need to get back to that. I love it.
Yeah, mindfulness is so key. So key to have opportunities of just getting quiet, right? Having opportunities to reflect, because I like that word. Reflect on your word of the year. That first thing in the morning, actually, another thing that I'm practicing with mindfulness is I'm not a big journaler. Mm-hmm. I'd rather speak it and then it be printed. But I'm doing this book right here, the Daily Stoic Journal, and it gives you prompts every day. It gives you prompts. You can do one in the morning and one in the evening. And so far, I'm on track with this. What's today? Today's the 17th? Is today's the 17th? I think today's the 17th. Yes.
Yeah,
so
it is.
I did. I've been on track every day. Y'all can't see it, but I've been on track every day with doing my daily journal. And I like the fact that it gives you prompts. Because I believe I shared in one of the episodes that sometimes it's difficult for me to start without anything. But if you give me just a little bit of something, I can go with it. Mm-hmm. So yes, practicing mindfulness is really good. Well, while we have 3 more, we want to take a quick commercial break so that you can learn more about my co-host and her business. And then we'll be right back right after this.
So with Donzale's Photography, we specialize in helping you bring out you. One thing that I've noticed, people can be scared, intimidated about doing a shoot, especially if it's the first time. I've modeled before, done acting, the whole nine. So if you need help with that, I'm gonna coach you through the whole thing. I'm gonna tell you how to pose, make you look real cute. And then by the time you get your images, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, that was me, I did that. So I love doing that for people. I love bringing out you. So just make sure that you check us out. We'd be happy to work with you.
All right, Donzale's Photography. Tell us a little bit more about the business and everything.
Yeah, well, I've been doing photography 13 years now. I guess going on 14. These years keep rolling by like so quickly. But last year I was able to open my own kind of brick and mortar. So now I've got my own little home away from home, a studio that I can use. And so that's just been an amazing experience. So much fun. Again, I get to use that creative side of the brain and just really have a chance to kind of play, even though I'm working. It's really a joy for me.
Yeah. Great, great. Well, I'm looking forward to getting some of my pictures done at
Yes, yes,
Donzale's Photography. All right. Well, we have three more reasons why it's important for you to have a word or phrase as a high achiever. Reason number 5, increase self awareness. Increase self awareness. Reflecting on your chosen word or phrase can help you become more self aware and introspective and better understand your values, goals, and priorities. Self awareness. Being a personal brand strategist, that is the number one key of personal branding. Being self-aware. Are you self-aware enough to know what makes you special, what makes you unique? Are you self-aware to know what are your unique talents and gifts that help you to stand out? Because the fact of the matter is though some of us don't believe it, we all have something very unique about ourselves. We all have something that helps us to stand out, and whether or not we hone that skill or talent is up to us, but there's distinct uniqueness about each one of us. And so having that word or phrase a year really helps you to be a little bit more self-aware. Because when I think about follow through, the reason why I need follow through as a word or phrase this year is that I ain't been following through. That I should, in my mind, I should be where it is that I want to be financially, but I know I'm not there because of my lack of follow through.
Mhm.
I should have that location free traveling 2 or 3 times a month when I want to. But because I haven't been followed through, I have to budget a little bit more to do it.
Mhm.
But my goal and my vision is that I don't have to budget for these things. I could just go and do.
Right.
But that requires me to follow through. That requires me to follow through, to be more self-aware. Self-awareness to the degree where I can go and where I can't go, what I can do and what I can't do, or
Mhm.
what I shouldn't do, right? Self-aware to know what gives me energy, what doesn't give me energy.
That's a big one.
Self-awareness to know what type of people take my energy away and what type of people give me energy.
Mhm.
Come on, I'm preaching now. Self-awareness. Your word or phrase of the year can help you to be more self-aware.
You are. I think that energy one is really, really big. At least it's big for me. I can tell you, even on social media, my timeline, I get rid of who is draining. I get rid of. Now
Mm.
we all have our days. Don't get me wrong. So if somebody's upset about something, I get it, and that's normal. But you can tell when it's just kind of an ongoing, or if it's a negative Nancy, or if the going off is just it's too much. It's
Yeah.
just to where it's the level that no, that's not what I want around or what I want to see. So
Hmm.
I remove it quickly.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, those who are listening, be sure to type your word or phrase of the year in the comments. Those of you who are watching the replay, type hashtag replay and put your word or phrase of the year in the comments. We have two more reasons. Reason number 6, a word or phrase of the year can improve your decision making.
Oh yeah.
By considering how your choices align with your chosen word or phrase, you can make more intentional, aligned decisions rather than acting impulsively or based on external influences.
I love
I
it.
don't even know if we really need to explain that anymore. That Your word or phrase can help you with your decision making. I think there was a study that was done that kind of was talking about why you should, do meal prep and, put your clothes out the day before. Or there's actually an individual who says that they wear the same, they bought, I think it may have been Bill who talks about
Um,
that too. Bill Lee, he says he has 5 blue suits
right.
because it keeps him from having to spend that energy of thinking about what to wear.
Yeah.
And so your word or phrase can help eliminate some of that decision making because you automatically know, okay, no, that's not for me. It's not in alignment. Right. And so
Mm-hmm.
the less decisions that you have to make each day, the more energy you will have.
Right.
The more
And
space
I've
you have or
shared.
capacity you have to make decisions about things that are more important to you.
Right. Yes. I've shared with some about, I think even again as a entrepreneur, but this can be in any realm. A lot of times we can be fearful of
Mm,
getting no responses. Okay. And
yeah.
that could be, you just maybe you're a little intimidated. I mean, and this could be anything. Maybe you see someone and you're like, man, I wonder if they could kind of mentor me. I would like, or it could be anything. It doesn't have to be a salesy type thing. This could be anything. And one of the things that I was sharing with the group was I've gotten more comfortable with those no's because
Mm-hmm.
every so often you get the yes. So I'm okay asking. If they end up saying no, or no, that's not the right for me, or if they ignore my message and never respond, that's okay. Why? Because it's leading up to my next yes. So
Yeah.
just keep them coming because that's okay. Because I'm about to go get it. So did it make
Mm-hmm.
the dilemma of going ahead and asking easier? Yes, because I'm going on and I'm gonna go get it. So
Yeah.
yes.
That's so good. So
Yeah.
good. Helps you with your decision making skills.
Mhm.
And the last reason why you want to have a word or phrase of the year as a high achiever. Now we're talking to high achievers. We're not talking to those mediocre, average people, which we know that we don't have those people listening to this podcast or this video series, is that it can improve your overall well being. By focusing on things that are important to you and staying motivated and accountable, you can improve your overall well being and lead a more fulfilling, satisfying life. So the question here is your life fulfilled? Are you satisfied with the life results that you currently have? If you're not, you might want to consider having a word or phrase of the year so that you can have more of a well-being, more better well-being as it pertains to your lifestyle. When I think about when I was in my corporate career and the days that I would sit in that office, door closed, just looking out the window, just looking out the window, dreaming of the day that I would be an entrepreneur and being able to control my time and doing things that and work that I was more passionate about. That was unfulfillment. That was unfulfillment. And when I was released from that position, being laid off, I knew that I couldn't go back. And so my word or phrase for that particular year was bet on me. And so when I got laid off, I had 2 choices. I had a choice of going back to work, dusting off the resume, and pursuing another position within the healthcare administration industry, or bet on me. And 2014, April the 4th of 2014, guess what I did? It was easy for me to make the decision to bet on myself. There were a couple of things that I had always said I wanted to do. One was wanting to work in full-time ministry. Well, because I chose to bet on myself, I had an opportunity from 2015 to 2018 to work in full-time ministry at the Temple Church and be the minister of marketing and communications. And that provided me the opportunity to develop my skills as a personal brand strategist and as a speaker and as a marketer, because I was doing things for the church that I would ultimately end up doing for myself, that ultimately end up doing for other clients and organizations. But had I not bet on myself and not followed through on my word or phrase that year, I could potentially, and there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, if that is what you desire to have, and that is that you're accomplishing your goals and doing that. But I knew in that moment that I've spent 10 years professionally doing this thing and something's not right. And so I needed to figure out for me what was going to bring me greater fulfillment. And betting on myself has been a journey. I've been full-time, I think just 1 year longer than Donzale, and I feel like things are starting to, after almost 5 years. But I'm so glad that I did it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And it's been up and down, but we're making it. We are making it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good. So 7 reasons why you as a high achiever should have a word or phrase of the year. Let me go through those again real quick. It helps you to focus on your goals and priorities. It can increase motivation and accountability. It can serve as a positive reinforcement in your life. It can help you practice mindfulness. It can increase your self-awareness. It can improve your decision-making skills, and it can improve your overall well-being. Share your word or phrase of the year in the comments. Those of you who will be catching the replay, type #replay in the comments and let us know what your word or phrase of the year. But before we end today's episode, if you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go subscribe. This will be one of the very few times that we will be sharing these episodes via social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter. Primarily, we want to engage with you on our YouTube channel. So subscribe to the YouTube channel at The MPower Show. I posted it in the comments. Click the link. If you'd like to get notifications from us, click the link in the post and fill out the form so that you can get text notifications from us. But before we go, we always like to end every episode with last and final words from both Donzale and I. And so, Donzale, we'll let you go with your final word for today.
Okay, yeah. So I was just thinking about, we just yesterday finished up the holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I was the official photographer for some of the MLK events that were going on here in Nashville, which was absolutely amazing. And I just wanted to kind of end with, if you think about of course, the most famous speech that most people know and love and remember him by, the I Have a Dream speech, of course. And just think about what your dreams are. Think about what your goals are and your focus, because that's all going to, again, stem back to what is your word or your phrase of the year. So think about those things, put those plans into action, make sure that you create some of those habits around those things to make it happen. And then, of course, that accountability. And we want to see you come back and make sure, whether however long it takes you, whether that's months, weeks, years, make sure that you drop in the chat, hey, I accomplished what it was that I said that I was going to do, because that's very important.
And yeah, Brother Cedric, we see you there in the comments. We appreciate you joining us for today's live. But yes, my final thoughts for the episode, I'm just going to use my phrase. I'm going to use my phrase, follow through. What is that in which you've not achieved, that you keep putting on the back burner year after year after year? You keep promising yourself you're going to achieve that goal. You keep promising yourself you're going to take this particular trip. You keep promising yourself you're going to hit this revenue goal in your business. You keep promising yourself you're going to establish this relationship, or you're going to do this or that, and all the things. Well, I want to encourage you, this be your year of follow through. I want to encourage you to do what it is that you say you're going to do. No more trying, but do. No more trying, but do. I'm going to say it one more time. No more trying, but do. Follow through on that in which you say you desire to have in your life. Well, Donzale, first episode of 2023. We'll be right back here next week with another live episode, same place, same time, but only on the YouTube channel. We will not be streaming on all the platforms. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, go find the MPower Show on YouTube and subscribe, and also sign up for those text notifications so that you do not miss an episode. Anything else, Donzale?
No, I love it. I'm ready to keep this year rolling.
Yeah, this has been good. We appreciate all of you joining us for this live edition of the episode. And hey, we're going to be bringing you some great value this year. But until next time, always shoot for the top, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Take care.